My name is Dave Mastrangelo, Principal Second Violinist of the Naples Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm doing another one of these Coronapocalypse videos. This one is to take the video that I talked about, an introduction to Spiccato, and we're going to apply it to an orchestral excerpt, in this case, the first violin part to the Scherzo from Schumann's Second Symphony. It's a very famous excerpt that you will have to play if you want to audition either for colleges or certainly for professional orchestras. And so the first thing we want to do is establish the part of the bow we want to play this in, practice this spiccato stroke just independently on a single note. And to get at the tempo you want. It's marked at 144, but if you played at 144, it's going to sound a little frantic. You always want to play an excerpt like this so that it's even. It's much better for the audience, for the listener, for the committee to hear it even than it is for them to hear it rushed and frantic. Okay? So establish the tempo you're going to do. I'm going to do it a little under tempo today. When I do it for auditions, I try to do it between 126 and 132. Tonight I'm going to go slower than that. So establish the tempo you want to do first. That's probably what I'm going to do. And so figure out where that's going to go first. Take care of that. The next thing is to address the left hand. Because it's a fully diminished arpeggio and your instrument is tuned to, which is two diminished fifths stacked on each other at an interval of a third, but your instrument is tuned to perfect fifths, it requires a little shifting of the fingers up and down. That's something you can only get consistently by practicing it consistently. Where you practice it is in your scales and your arpeggios. That was my Intonation 201 video if you watched it. If not, regardless, you should always practice scales and arpeggios before you play actual music every day. Set the foundation. Strong foundation, you can do a lot. I practice this in rhythms, the long, short. Which forces you to connect the second, third, and fourth and first notes quickly in the brain. And then you do short, long, which connects the first and second and third and fourth notes quickly. The last thing I like to do is to flip the bowing upside down. What this does is it puts all your string crossings going the other way, right? And it also evens out the stroke. We don't want to play an excerpt of running sixteenths heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light. We want to be able to play it very evenly so that we can then do bigger phrases within that. By the time you've put all that together, you can put together the first section of this excerpt. And then we suddenly have a piano. So what I like to do there is to put just a split second of time, finish the phrase forte, and then restart piano. All right, and that kind of evens that out. The next part is just to get from the 16th slurred to either 16ths or 8ths. Compact those slurs and put little spaces. And the next thing is to get from 8ths back to 16ths. Just make sure that you just steady it out. Don't wander from that part of the bow. These arpeggios, I do them as octaves. You fill in the in-between notes. If you do approach it that way, you keep the string crossings the same. Remember, the evenness of string crossings is just as important as anything else. So then that brings you to the big crescendo into the same theme up in octaves. So you're right back to the beginning. All the same stuff that we talked about before. Right? So same ideas as we did before. Here I like to go to third position with a slide, because third is going to be an easy place for me to get to rather than fourth. And here, you're just going to have to practice that shift. There might be other fingerings you can come up with. This is the one that's printed in the part. You're just going to have to do it both directions, right? So coming out of it again. And that sort of finishes the thing. Now, after that, the excerpt sort of repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself. In the case of this excerpt, you should always look at the coda, right? All the same ideas, except a few different notes, but all the same principles apply. Figure out how fast you want to do it, figure out what part of the bow to do it in the rhythms, make sure it's very even. All right? Good luck.